And I'm just going to start with the tip of this pen, and we're just going to go around the inside, well, the underneath of this eye. So I'm just going to pull it down and get some of that burn in. Now the pressure on this is very, very gentle. You don't need a lot of pressure at all. And I'm not doing hard lines. This is all shade rather than a line. If that, I know that doesn't quite make sense, but it's like it's a fuzzy edge rather than a hard line. Down and around, just to get that shape in the eye. Just what I'm going to do is use the edge here. So I've got the tip and I'm going to tilt it ever so slightly, and I'm going to use the tip to the edge just to bring that bit around in that eye. And then there's another bit, so I'm going to tilt the opposite way and I'm going to bring that in over that side there. And what that is, that's just like the inside of the eye. So I'm going to bring that over and just do it gently, and just going over the top of that eye there, just to get that nice shape. Gently getting those two lines to meet, just with the tip of this shader. And I'm going to use this edge here, and I'm going to tilt it slightly and bring it around, just to get some of the colour in there. Gently just going backwards and forwards in that sketchy motion, just to, we've got like the base layer in. I'm just going to add some more dark into that. Now I'm going to use the edge, so I'm going to tilt it like this, and I'm going to use the edge just to bring in a thin line. Now I don't want a hard line. I'm not cutting into the wood, should I say, so I'm being very, very gentle. We'll bring that down just a little bit, I think. There we go. So we've got this catch light in here. I'm just going to go over the top of that top line just to meet up with the inside of the eye there that we've just done. And I'm just going to skirt around that catch light, and I'm going to use the edge of this tip and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm bringing it around because the eyeball is actually, obviously it's rounded, it's spherical. So I'm going to darken that there a little bit more. So from here we're going to do this underneath bit. I'm going to pull that in a little bit from that line. I want it relatively light to build up the layers. So by pulling from the darker into the lighter, it helps to blend that burn. And then what we've got is the pupil just here that I'm going to burn in. And that can burn in quite dark because pupils are dark. So I'm going to do is use this edge, I'm going to tilt, I'm going to pull from this direction and blend that way. I've got those in there, and I'm actually, now I'm looking at this bit over here needs to go darker. Another layer in, just in here. You will have the colour of the eye in here. It goes really dark all the way down to that catch light. So we're going to get that in there. is I'm going to use the edge of this shader. Now this fur goes up, curves around there. So what we're going to do is come from this darker bit and just shade up. And I know we've got all these lines in here, but by the time we've got the really dark around, you won't. Because fur is so thick, it's dense with lots and lots of layers. We need to lay that base layer down first so you can't see the wood through. And obviously there is lots and lots of fur to do. So I'm just going to stick with the fur direction. So as the fur comes down on this section, it comes like this. I suppose it doesn't really matter for the base layer that you go in the direction of the fur, but I tend to go in the direction of the fur because it sets you up for remembering to do that for the next few layers that you have to do. Still sticking with that fur, bringing that in. It's going to be a lot darker than this, so just building this up. Over here is quite dark, just here, just going backwards and forwards, ever so gently on this shade. There's no pressure at all, and then it actually comes dark all the way down. And slowly build up these layers bit by bit. So bringing that over just there. I'm still going backwards and forwards and using that kind of like sketchy motion, the swinging action, just to get that in there. Make sure that we go in the direction of the fur. So I'm just going to use the edge, bring from this darker area and bring it in. I'm only filling in a little bit. I'm just giving another layer on that one, blending it in. Now going back to the flat, well, the edge of the tip around, so doing more of a shade than sort of like the lines. Bring a bit more in down here, add this darker section just here, still going with that direction of that fur. This part here is, I've already got that base layer in that section. So I do change my angle of my hand quite a bit just to try and get this in. Spinning your board round, you know, then by all means go for it. It's, you know, great to spin it around. Remembering to come around with that fur direction. It's just a lot of smooth shading with this. Not really lots and lots of details, if I'm honest with you. It's always about the values and the lights and the darks, and that's what's really, really important when doing like realistic things. Just still using just the edge, like the side of this shader. I'm gonna go, it looks like an eyebrow, a doggy eyebrow. We'll go with that. Going backwards and forwards. I'm not doing long strokes of the pen. It's a short fur. Long strokes would make it look like it got long fur. By swinging it backwards and forwards and touching the wood twice, it just helps to get colour onto the wood relatively quickly. I tend to overlap my lines a little when going backwards and forwards on here again. Adding this second layer in. So I'm just going to pull that a little bit slower, pulling towards me, but I'm kind of going with that little bit of that curve that the fur direction is going. By moving slower, it's giving me that slightly darker burn. You can see I've not filled in on this second, I think it's the third actually, second or third time we've gone over this. I've not filled in all the wood, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point because I'm going to go over again and we'll fill in different bits of the wood, and what it will do is add to the overall texture, so you don't have to add lots and lots of details later. Darkening this cheek a little bit more, just going backwards and forwards. Actually, I think I'm going to go up to a number 2 with this, just because I know that this is going to be really, really dark, so we can get it in just a little bit faster. And you can see just by going up by that half, it is going in a lot darker than it was. There's no pressure on this pen. So what I'm going to do is pull from that darker into that lighter area there, so it's blending. Because your pen naturally gets cooler and looks like it's running out the longer you do a line, you use that bit to your advantage when you blend in fur. So start in a darker area and bring it in a blend. What I'm going to do is, this area here is darker, so I'm just going to add some of that in. I'm just going to go backwards and forwards, just building up these layers, and you've just been really gentle on pressure. I'm just going really slow and taking my time to build it up.